Hello and welcome. This is a new series, Civilization 4. It's inspired by a forum thread on Civ Fanatics forums. Helped me get better on Emperor. It was a modded game. It used bat mod, which I stripped away and saved it as a scenario. So some flags might be off. I hope everything works alright. Anyway, the main topic of this game is the first 100 turns. Empire expansion, worker management, city placement, initial city placement, scouting, and so on. I'm trying to show what I learned from the Civ Fanatic forums, from deity players there who play on a much higher difficulty than this. And I'll try to talk through my logic, my reasoning behind all this, every move I make, why I make it, why is it better than the alternatives, and so on. It might not be 100 turns, might be 50 turns, but I might continue this game if you want to. This is like an advanced guide to Civ 4. It's not expert by no means. I'm not by no means an expert, but I can give you some heads up on how to improve, how to step up to this difficulty level. This map is a continents map. It has 2 less AIs than usual, so you have much more room to expand to, and also the AIs have much more room to expand to. And one of your neighbors you'll see is creative, which is a pain, and the other is a religious guy or lady who is also a pain because they expand fast. But let's first focus on the initial thing here, which is city placement, first city, second cities, and so on. So let's focus on the first city. The first thing I want to say is that the first very few turns, like up to turn 50, are critical. This is because although the game gets more and more complex as time passes, as you get more cities, more units, more land to manage, and so on, the time frame and the importance of early turns is based, you can treat it as like starting a company. So anything you do today maximizes your profits in the future. So 1 hammer today is worth more than 10 hammers in 10 turns. That's how this game works. So early investment needs to be thought out, maybe even more than in the late game, like at turn 200. Every move you make with your scout or your settler or your worker needs to be thought out in advance. Very specific movements, very specific decisions, because the first 50 turns of the game can determine like how successful you'll be in the next 50 turns, and this just propagates further on. A good example for this would be in-game. For example, I don't know if you I don't know if you know this, but for example, your cultural buildings get their culture doubled for each, I don't know how long, I think 1000 years. So for example, a wonder you created in the first few turns, like Stonehenge, starts with like I think 8 culture or 6 culture. But then it doubles, right? Its effect doubles. Stonehenge, yeah, it's 8 culture, so it's 16 culture. And then it goes from 16 to, I don't know how it's calculated, maybe 24 or 32. But it's a compounding effect, and the same is true with your turns. So let's first talk, I don't need to talk about the leader. Pakal is a financial and expensive leader who has faster granaries and 2+2 health. Just let me check, how can I turn off? Oh, it's a settler, that's why I see all the... Okay, so starting position, right? It starts with mining and mysticism. So you need food tax for start. You have mining covered, you can go to bronze working, you can go to masonry. You have mysticism, so you have very cheap masonry, but you need food. And luck has it that this map has an oasis here, which with a financial leader is basically like a farm, like a super farm. So you're covered for the first few turns. You don't need you don't actually need extra food. You are not penalized too much for not having agriculture, for example, for start. So these pigs are going to be probably your next objective to hook these up, because it's 6 food. But you don't start with either hunting or agriculture, so you need to discover 2 technologies to get to animal husbandry, which unlocks pigs. And this oasis helps immensely with that. Immensely. So now the first question is always, do you move from here? Is there a better optimal spot for moving from here? Well, one of the unwritten rules, especially if you're not an expensive leader, is that you want to follow the river, especially for your capital. This spot right here, and you don't want to waste floodplains, because floodplains are just, especially for a financial leader, it's like a bonus resource, really. It's 3 commerce, 3 food from the very start, from the moment you plant your cottage down. So you want to grab as many floodplains as you can, but at the same time you want food to grow. Floodplains are awesome in a sense that you can actually treat them as a food resource, but in this particular scenario, because we don't know what's up here, probably some desert hills or something, and there's forest down here, you don't have any other food resource other from the pigs. And if you move anywhere different from the starting position, you will automatically lose a turn. I guess you could move down here or one of these tiles, but if there is no food resource up here, and it's highly unlikely that there is, because it's all floodplains or desert even, it's highly unlikely. So you need this one food, especially for a capital, and it's 2 tiles away, so it can be shared by some other city, maybe down here. So in this particular scenario, although some people suggest starting with a Plains Hill start, because it gives an extra hammer for your capital, for your main city, I don't think moving in this particular scenario to either of the Plain Hills is actually reasonable, because you could like move here or move here, but I don't see, I want these floodplains more than I need this one hammer. I think I can survive, without. And I'll talk about this in a moment. Your worker turns will actually enable you to reap great benefits from this marble hill right here, so it's not that important to move. Now, regarding your first worker, your first scout or your warrior, how do you scout? Well, first, of course, you stick to hills and forests where possible, because you don't want to lose your warrior or scout. You want them to be always fully healed, obviously, so they don't die to random lions, tigers, bears, and so on. Or later barbarians. So, but what's the primary task of your scouting? First is to find your second city spot, and then to find other players, so you get contact with them, eventually open borders with them, and that you get your techs cheaper, right? Because the more AIs you discover that have a certain tech, you get a discount on researching it yourself. But your primary reason for where to move in the first 10 turns definitely is to find your second city spot, and in this or to determine if you want to move your settler. But in this case, due to the positioning of the settler and the warrior, there is no way I can improve my prospects of knowing where to move, because it's highly unlikely there is floodplains down here, right? So I don't see any benefit of moving the warrior, in a sense that I could discover more good land for this settler to move. So my only 2 options are either northwest or southwest. And I think in this particular scenario, because I can presume there is jungle down here, that I want to move to the northwest to see if there is, to somehow capitalize on these floodplains, to see if there is a good city spot up here. So I'll do just that and stick to the hills because they provide visibility and because they're safer to move on. Okay, so we have some mid-game luxury resources, and I will, since I see absolutely no reason to move, I'll just settle in place. Okay, so we discovered some more tiles, and I'm going to start with a worker first. Why a worker? Because, well, you have basically two options, right? When you start, you can either maybe more, but usually what people do is they either start with a worker or a warrior, depending on what they want to do, or maybe a fishing boat if you have fishing and you have a coastal start. But in this case, it's either starting with a warrior, so you grow, which you can because you have floodplains, or you start with a worker. I'm actually not sure which would be the better here, because I would grow in like 8 turns. But if I choose it's going to be more interesting if I choose the worker path, because it will help me to show you more relevant worker micro management in the very early game. So I'll do that. As you can see, it switched to not to growth but to the hammers, because we are expensive and workers are cheaper with the expensive trait. However, the expensiveness, the discount works only for hammers, not for food. So that's why it switched automatically to food, to hammers. So 3 hammers, that's good enough. It's like a mine. And I will get it out in 12 turns, the worker. So the first thing I'm going to do is going to go for agriculture. Why not hunting? Because I need to reach animal husbandry, right? So why not hunting? Because I see no hunting resources. I don't think I'll need archery, and maybe I'll need hunting for like the unique unit, the Holcon. But I'm actually betting on having an agriculture resource. So although hunting is cheaper, you can get it in like 6 turns. So you shave off 3 turns. You can get agriculture in 9. And it will take a while to get this worker out, right? So what will I do with the worker in the meantime? I'll mine this marble and then probably farm something and then move on to the pigs. So I did waste a few turns, and maybe in this particular scenario, if you're playing on deity, hunting would be more viable. But since you can wait for 5 turns to know exactly what your tech path is going to be, or not going to lose any tech points for not choosing a tech at first, you have 5 turns to discover whether you need hunting or agriculture. So I'm going to use that trick right now, and move further north. Okay, so we have gold. And I'm going to move on further. Okay, so I think we found our second city spot. That's definitely, except if there's something awesome right here, but I think that this spot, considering that there's gold and I can share some tiles, this area here, not wasting any floodplains, this area here is going to be like a city. In one of these tiles is going to be a city, right? Because it can share a few tiles with Mutul, with our capital. Okay, so we have corn up here, which is a very good tile, and I think that it merits going agriculture. I still don't see any hunting resources, so... But we definitely need animal husbandry. Okay, so I'm moving through hills. Now I'm reaching a part where I can see there is nothing interesting up there. Even if there is later, I don't care about it right now. It's too far away from the capital to scout up there. I'm much more interested in like swinging back down and checking out the southern part. Well, as you can see, there's jungle down here, so I guessed right. So yeah, you don't want to go into the jungle this early. You want to find some nice city spots without any jungles. Now I might make an exception, like just going, I don't know, we'll see. I'll make a turn like right here and then swing back down. Okay, so we have pigs here and we have another river. So this might be like secondary expansion in that direction up there. And I'll grab this hill to check out if there is any good surroundings. I think this is a floodplain down here, so another great area of interest. And we meet our first AI, which is Pericles. He is creative and philosophical. He's a good techer and quite annoying with his culture. So yeah, he's probably somewhere up there. We meet him on turn 9, so that's with a scout, that's, and not the jungle, so that's like 18 tiles away, roughly, from this position. So if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, he is somewhere roughly like here, right? That's his capital. And now it's 12 turns to animal husbandry. Okay, so we discovered some more floodplains and another river. Okay, so we got our first worker, and now the question is what to build next. Well, as a Maya, since you're not creative, I don't think that Stonehenge would be such a bad idea on this difficulty. However, due to all this good land, I would say expansion is your priority number 1 here, which means lots of workers, lots of settlers, lots of warriors, and I don't think I can squeeze in a Stonehenge in this particular scenario. So what to do now? I have 8 turns. If I want to mine this, it's 4 turns and moving 1, that's 5. So I have three more turns to waste, quote unquote, which means I could either, or I could mine this one. That's 2 turns wasted on movement, 4 for the mine, that's 6. And again, I don't have anything to do with this worker. So I'm not going to be able to reach the pigs in time. So if I try to mine this marble, I will be able to reach the pigs in time, but I have 1 or 2 turns wasted because I would need to move here to farm. I'll show you now what I mean. So I'm trying to optimize my worker movement so that once the 8 turns are up, when I'll be able to improve the pigs, I'll be right up on top of the pigs without losing a single turn on worker movement or improvements. So that's why I'm going to move to the marble. And some more floodplains. Yeah, this definitely looks like a huge, currently uncontested area. For expansion, so 4 turns for the mine. As you can see, we are working now the oasis, which is a perfect tile for financial leaders. Oh my, all prime real estate down here. Okay, so we now mined the, it's now a 5 hammer tile. So it's huge if you want to build anything, for example, you know, Stonehenge, 20 turns, no problem. So that might be a consideration depending on how fast it goes. So now we have 3 turns. which means we can spend 2 turns on farming this. Yeah, Pericles, the Greek flag is black for some reason. That's probably because I changed it from a mod. Okay, so we have some food around down here, some spices, some rice. As you can see, we have all the 3 granary health resources available. So health is not going to be an issue with all these flat plains, no problem, especially as expensive. And let's move further south. So we have also some sugar. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 potential luxury resources with calendar and monarchy. So that's great. Why am I building Stonehenge? No. What am I doing? I wanted to build a warrior. Okay. My bad. And we have horses.
The increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep.
So that takes care of 2 tiles. And now we can start. Let me just move this guy to the pigs. Okay, so as you can see now, we didn't lose any turn on this worker. We started building a farm here. And considering how good this land is, I think I'm going to grow to size 3 or 4 and then start working on a settler. So let's check out this area down here. Oh, so why am I going bronze working? Well, considering how much good land there is around me, and I don't have a issue with commerce because I have this oasis, I'm going bronze working first. Otherwise, I would be going pottery because I need commerce, right? But we'll hook up this gold soon enough. So I think we are good with going bronze first. I want to chop out this and whip this first settler, definitely, and subsequent settlers as well. Oh, so we have Spain down here. She is really close. I think this might be her second city, or maybe first one, I don't know. Oh, we have gems as well. Well, okay. And now we hooked up our only food resource, and it's definitely worth working at least 4 tiles, right? So the oasis, pigs, horses, and marble. So I think I'll grow to size 4. The horses are food neutral, so that's fine. And I'm going to hook up the horses now, while still growing. I'm going to have to waste a turn on movement, but that's okay. Oh my, even more gems. Okay, so maybe this won't be the second city spot, maybe down here. But let me see actually. Let me see this mountain chain down here. Maybe it blocks the way. Yeah, this is a coast right here. I think if I like plant a city like right here or right here, it will block off Isabella. Or maybe like, yeah, maybe like here or here, I don't know, we'll see. And hook up the horses. Okay, so I got the warrior. Now this is Emperor, so barbarians are not so deadly. So I might actually go for the Stonehenge here, at least for the fail gold. And I'll plant this guy. I'll go check out this and then move up here to protect the settler. I think that's what I'll do. Yeah, okay, we have rice here as well. So I think like a city like here, or maybe here, I mean, it really depends on what you want to do. With this city placement, you share less tiles with your capital. But with this city placement, you are like closer to your capital and you grab all the relevant resources and you're, you know, maybe like that. That looks fine. Yeah, we'll decide in a bit. So let's check for seafood first before doing any rash decisions. Okay, no seafood. So if I settle here, I'll have 5 unworkable tiles, 2 on the coast and 3 mountains. If I move here, I'll have 2 unworkable tiles. So this position wins, although I would have to chop this to get the full benefit. Not wasting any forests. So 3 turns till growth to pop 4, and then I'll start on my settler. Okay, so there is like a potential city spot right there. A production powerhouse, I would say. So many hills and river and food resources, excellent. Okay, so 2 turns till 1 turn. Okay, there we go. So in 1 turn, wait, yeah. We check something? Yeah, definitely. Perfect growth to size 4, and then we start on a settler. There we go. Settler time. 8 turns for a settler, 2 turns for bronze working. So what to do now? Culture pop is in 5 turns. Let's first find some seafood if there is any. And I think I can move this warrior now up there. So we can chop in 2 turns. And there's really nothing else we can do. So what we can do is place our worker on a forest that is most likely to help to be chopped, even if we lose a turn. Preferably we don't lose a turn, so we move into a position that will require two turns to move there to chop something, which would be like any of these, right? So which one of these would be the most beneficial to chop? Well, let's see. If I want to move from Mutual to any of these tiles, I can, because this is an open space. So if a settler wants to move, it can move anywhere, like here, 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 from Mutual, right? Because this is an empty, it's not forested. However, if I want to move any unit onto these 2 hills, I need to spend 2 turns, right? So it would be ideal. I mean, you can like move like here, but you can't move onto this hill or onto this forest, because this forest blocks the way. So ideally, what you would want to do is chop this forest, because you will cottage it anyway, because it's a riverside. And if you need to lose a turn, a worker turn, you might as well save up that turn at a later date. Like, for example, if you want to move a unit here or here. So that's what I'll do. That's why I'll chop this forest specifically. We don't need any more production right now. We have horses and mined marble, so that's fine. Let's see if I can grab some more commerce. No, I can't. Okay. So that's... I was hoping I could shave off 1 turn from bronze working, but that's not the case. Okay. Okay, so we have seafood. We have fish. Right. Okay. So definitely this city here is like our second expansion, I guess. Or maybe first, but I don't think Isabella will go to the jungle for her first city. I think we are safe to go up here first and then down here. Okay, so we now go to bronze working.
It is entirely seemly.
We don't go to slavery just yet.
To lie mangled by the bronze spear. In his death, all things appear fair.
The city will get connected by fishing. That's fine. We need, and it's going to be able to work some tiles, so it's not a biggie. And we'll probably whip the city down also. So either, I don't have stone, so pyramids are not a thing. I think I'll go ironworking. It's too soon for that. We have a gold we can hook up. I think I'll go wheel. I think I'll go wheel and return this warrior here to fog bust, like maybe, yeah, here. Let me see how many, 3 turns for border. Okay, I'll go here. We don't need to fog bust this area anymore, and neither this one, because we can see it. Okay. Chop. 2 turns for a settler. And what I think I'll do next is just chop out Stonehenge, if I'm able to get it. It's turn 33, it's bound to go soon, but we can at least give it a try. And what I'll do is I'll chop this tile here and then this tile here. Because this tile is going to be settled anyway by a city, so I will get those hammers rather than lose them. There we go, chop, 3 turns, and as you can see, oh, that's a very late Hinduism. Nice. Okay, so 1 turn for the wheel. And there is the 4th AI, Zara, also a good tacker.
Push your shoulder through the wheel.
He's probably way somewhere. Where did he come from? Oh, Pericles also got a religion. Awesome. Well, at least they will hate each other, Isabella and Pericles. So 10 turns for Stonehenge. Can I get it any faster? Yep. Let's try it like that. And now what to build here? Well, we can immediately build chariots because we hooked up via fishing this city. So either worker or chariot. I think we can grow on it. Well, wait. No. Or yes? Yes, okay. So we can grow for a bit on a chariot and then switch to a worker when we grow to pop 2. So 4 turns for pottery, and I'm going to chop this one. I didn't switch to slavery yet. I don't need to yet, but soon. Let's see if we can grab Stonehenge. Oh, so here's her second city. Okay, so she did expand into the jungle, but this area is pretty safe. So after Stonehenge, I'll go for a worker and then another settler. That's the plan. Okay. So far so good. 3 turns for Stonehenge. Let's see if we can grab it.
Hath not the potter
Apparently,
power
yes.
of the clay to make one
Okay,
vessel
so
unto
next
honor,
investment
and another
into
unto
tech
dishonor?
will be... I think we can go masonry. I don't see any point in writing because we are going to get so many... well, maybe writing. Maybe writing then well, we have enough time, we have enough commerce. I think we can do either. I think I'll go masonry first, just for the sake of it. There we go. And we got Stonehenge. Okay. Now we cleared this spot right here. And we secured our border pops at least. That's a huge plus. And now I can start putting down a cottage here. But what I really want to do is put down a cottage here. 3 turns for growth, then we switch to a worker, and we will have 3 workers in 3 turns. There we go. Excellent. Now this guy is going to put down a cottage here, because then this city can work 2 tiles which provide a lot of gold, commerce even. And then later we will switch to the gold mine and the corn. So 8 turns till settler. I think next turn would be a good time to... Actually, let's do it right now. Let's switch to slavery. There we go. Now I can whip the settler. At some point. Okay, masonry, and now writing.
It is from their foes, not their friends, that cities learn the lesson of building high walls.
So we have enough food, we have enough commerce, and now we can probably hook up this marble. Yeah, we can do that. And then we can use this guy to improve tiles down here. We can do that, yep. So let's do that. Okay, I can whip this guy for 2 pop. I'll do it. And place him right down here. And put it into a granary. There we go. Okay. So this city is now covered. And I can put down a cottage right here, which will enable the city to get even more commerce and growth next turn. And there we go. First 50 turns. We got out 2 cities in prime locations. We got good commerce, 21 science per turn. Well, maybe not 21, but 18 science per turn. We have 2 workers coming out, 3 cities, 1 worker coming out soon. I think we're in a good position. We also got a wonder. So, yeah. If you want me to continue, just say so, but I'll stop recording here. Thank you for your time.